To deal with your difficult boss. This is a topic that I want to talk about, and for anyone who's having this experience currently and feel I don't know what to do, I just need to get out, but I also can't, and all of this because of my boss, then this exactly is the video you should find and watch and rewatch, and of course apply. Okay. I have been coaching several clients on this very topic, and I see, especially in the humanitarian sector, I see that the reason why we keep having a lot of difficult problems and triggers and whatever other difficulties you're having with your difficult boss comes down to A, your expectations about what the boss should be and shouldn't be, right? So you have a lot of expectations, and when those expectations are not met, or your boss makes you believe that this is the type of person they are, and then you find out in reality that they are not, then you have a lot of judgments about it. So that's the main thing that I would say is what is making your experience a very difficult one. And in this video, by the way, I'm not really talking about those ones who are wronging you and bullying and all of the misconduct. I'm not really talking about those, even though that could be also for those bosses, you could apply these principles that I will be talking about. But coming back to how you are having this experience where you feel like your boss is difficult and you keep trying to do everything and nothing is working kind of situation, I would really like for you to start looking at your expectations first. So this is the first thing, right? That makes things so difficult when you keep expecting things from the boss and boss does not deliver on those expectations. And I have currently three clients, I would say, that we're currently working on how to deal with those bosses and what to do in those situations, right? So this is the first that I see from every client I have coached, is that expectations not matching the reality. The second reason why the relationship becomes so difficult and so difficult so fast is because all of my clients have this feeling that they have no choice but to work with this person, right? Meaning that I have to stay here or I have to continue this contract. I have no other choice, especially now in the funding crisis. And then the lack of choice makes the situation even more trapped. And the third one that I would say is the main reason why a lot of my clients have difficulty with their bosses they label as difficult is because everything becomes a personality topic and nothing is the outcome topic, or even if it is, it's a very rare the outcome topic, meaning what are the interests outcomes we're pursuing together, rather than you hate me, I hate you, and we have to tolerate each other conversation, right? So when these type of situations happen, oftentimes my clients tell me about how they're so frustrated, so disappointed, so blaming the boss. If the boss is on vacation, then it's a great day. If the boss is in the office, then everything is ruined, and constantly nervous, having the nervous activation and feeling like they just need to escape that place, or attacking the person, or constantly robbing each other or having friction, and then feeling exhausted by the end of the day, right? So you probably can relate to this. Even if you had it in the past or you're currently having it, you probably can relate to all of what I'm saying. So, as I was coaching a lot of my clients, here is what I have found to be the most useful way to solve this. And I want to explain a bit in detail what I mean. But the main solution that I see in this situation is treating your boss like your main client. So imagine you're working in the private sector, or you imagine you are working in your own business and you have a client that you are getting paid from. And if you treat that client, and of course, you may also have these images of businesses where you say, oh my God, I don't want to become the person who constantly tries to please their client and who tries to do everything, whatever the client says, and being abused. No, that's not what I'm talking about. And I really want you to listen and hear what I'm saying as to how it can work in practice that is more healthy. And the reason why I feel this way of looking at the situation might help you is because in the business, if you are having your own business or you are working for someone in their business, you will know that the first thing you will know is that you have a choice in the matter, or you have to have a choice in the matter. This is I think, the fundamental thing that many people misinterpret, or not even, I think, apply in their own mindset. They just feel like they have to continue working. They have to continue somehow dealing and tolerating this person. But in the business, if you treat any client like you have to, and you have to tolerate them and just people pleasing them, and then doing whatever they ask you, then you ruin the business or you ruin your business. Right? So therefore, you need to approach every client as they're here by choice and you are there by choice to be working with them in partnership together. And this level of maturity needs to come to that conversation. And it should be the basis of the conversation. Otherwise, the relationship goes bad very fast. And no one will like when you are treating them as, like, if you're treating your client as, I am stuck with you now and I just need to tolerate you and will do whatever you say, then you know that you are actually hurting your business or you are hurting someone's business. Right? So therefore, the most healthy businesses that I have seen, and I try to apply this logic in my own life as well, is to say, okay, whatever the thing I'm doing with with the client, I'm choosing it, meaning I'm choosing to be there. Even if my circumstances might be that I don't have money, I don't have a job, and I have to do whatever, I still want to approach any situation as, I'm choosing to be here. I'm choosing to work with this person. And I could go and do something else, but I'm choosing to do this here because of my own reason, because of whatever reasons. Therefore, I'm here by choice, and this person is here by choice. And we are mature two persons who are working on this in solving things together. And even if they're not mature, let's say, then my job is to be mature in this conversation and have the hard conversations where needed, but also doing it with the best interest of the client's outcomes. Right? So the first thing that I would approach any difficult person that I would label difficult, I would really remind myself and approach every conversation from the place of, I'm choosing to be here, I'm choosing to do this work, in the same way that I did in the humanitarian sector. And I have coached my clients on this very topic of, okay, if you keep feeling like you are trapped and you are stuck and you have to tolerate, then you won't be able to have the mature hard conversations with the other person. You will be constantly explosive and as if doing things against your will, and that is not going to help the relationship. So that's why bringing the choice as to you are choosing to be there, you are choosing to do this work with this person. Now, whether this person was appointed by someone else or hierarchy is not right, all of this, but by you being in that environment, in the signing a contract, you are agreeing to work with whatever the structures and the systems that that place has. Right? Because you could also agree not to work there. You could also decide to find something else. And if you're not allowing yourself to be that powerful and to be that trusting to find something else, then you will have a lot of difficult times in that place. So that's the first thing that I try to do in my own work, and I love this way of doing this, and I have seen a lot of amazing businesses where this works as well, that everyone is assumed to be there for by choice, and everyone is doing this because they want to or they have decided to do for whatever their own reasons, but never because they have no other options or because they cannot get another job. Because if you keep approaching everything from that place, then you will continue feeling trapped and you keep trapping yourself in that situation. So you keep telling your brain the message that I am someone who has no choice. I am someone who's a victim of the situation. I'm someone who can do any other way. Therefore, I have to tolerate this person. Poor me. That is what will get you to burnout and depression, and especially continuously feeling like you are at the mercy of other people's behaviors. So choice is the number one thing. The number two is not making it a personality issue. And this is also in business, especially, you will see, and hopefully you will also get to see more positive examples of this, because there are also tons of negative examples of this. But the positive examples of this is that no matter what my judgments are about this person, no matter what my expectations about this person, excuse me, my job is not here to make it a personal battle. My job is here to represent their best interests, to solve the things that get them to the outcome they want to. Right? And that, I think, way of doing things where we are no longer looking at, okay, do they like me, they don't like me, they hate me, or they're thinking this way about me, I'm thinking this about them. All of this shouldn't come to the conversation or shouldn't come to the relationship. And we're all human, obviously, that we always have those type of judgments or expectations or feelings like this is not how it should be and they should have been this way and that way. All of this we can maybe even think about, but we always know that that energy shouldn't influence my relationship with this person. Because if my judgments or my judgments about what they are judging about me or whatever the personal things that we make it, if we keep making it personal, I know that I cannot have a healthy relationship with this person. And I have experiences in my own life and my own coaching practice every time where things didn't go well is because somewhere along the line I have allowed my judgment to influence our relationship, or I allowed my thoughts about what they might be judging about me influence our relationship. And that's when things go wrong. And you have probably seen this in your own life millions of times. So that's why the antidote to making things personal is making things about the work, the process, the outcome, and how do we get the how do we pursue that outcome in the best way, treating the client as, or treating your boss as the client who has their best interests, whether to look good in front of the office, whether to create some results and shine, whatever it is that they may have. Your job is then to how do we get that outcome together, or how do I get that outcome for that person or with that person so that they can shine and you can shine. And ideally, of course, it would be great that you could always assume that the person, the boss, is pursuing what's best for the people that we are serving. And that's also my interest. That's where we have things in common. And that's why that's the interest we'll be pursuing. And therefore, my best interests are also their best interest. And how can I get to that outcome as smooth as possible? Right? And the third element that I believe that makes this difficult boss relationship less difficult and actually even breaks through transformative is when we are feeling safe inside to be having hard conversations. So in order for us to be able to have hard conversation where we say, this is not going well, and I see that you are making this about me instead of about this, and here are my examples. Or I see that you are not able to take the constructive feedback that I'm giving in the way that would help us get to that outcome. What can we do about it? Here is what I'm proposing. This type of hard conversations we need to be able to have. Because if we're not able to have hard conversations, we will not have healthy relationships. This is what I understood. And in order to have the mature, hard conversations where we assume that the other person also wants to hear the honest truth about what's going on with me, and I want to hear what's going on, the honest truth, what's going on inside them, so that we can then figure out what to do about them. That type of conversation comes from us being able to feel safe, not have the our nervous system activated, but rather trusting ourselves, trusting the other person, and trusting that we are mature professionals who are able to figure things out. If it's personal, if it's something that's not working, we're able to figure things out because that's in our best interest to keep having good days and working on the result rather than fighting with each other. That requires a hard conversation where the hard conversation is conducted by feeling safe from one or both sides. Ideally, both sides, but even if it's not possible with the other person, you can be that person. I have been in that situation many, many times, and it feels very uncomfortable. It also feels like, oh my God, what if things go wrong and it will go out of hand? That will also happen. But the more you have the best intentions to say, okay, I would like to solve this problem so that we're not keep bumping into this every time, and therefore let me have this hard conversation with this person and know that this is not a personal attack. I'm not here to be blaming them, or I'm not here to be blaming me, or whatever it is. I'm having more conversations about, this is my honest truth about here how I'm experiencing this. I would like for you to tell me how you're experiencing this and how can we fix this together. Right? And without that hard conversation, as I said, I don't think there is a healthy relationship. And in order to have that hard conversation, we need to believe that they are willing to solve this problem as much as we do, because they probably also don't want to be going home and feeling frustrated about us and about what happened today and then keep thinking about it. Probably they're suffering from it as much as we are doing. And if they're not suffering and we just say that, oh, they're just difficult, whatever the bosses, and they are not compassionate, or they're not suffering from it, and they are just so used to making everyone else miserable and all of this. Obviously, you need to also think about how to in that relationship, or report that relationship, whatever it is. But those are the the parts that we can again do if we feel we have the choice in the matter. If we feel that we can do something with it, no matter what happens to our job and no matter what happens to our contract. But you see that every problem starts happening when we just feel that we don't have any other choice. And this is also the same, like if I were to give the analogy, is the analogy of a marriage, right? I always think of like what analogies that I can give that's more relatable to people. And if you can relate to marriages where you will feel like you're stuck with this person, you can't really leave and divorce and or separate, whatever it is, then you will keep solving for the wrong problems. And you probably have seen this for yourself as well, maybe in your own relationships, right? So if you feel like fundamentally you are stuck and you can't get out and you have no other choice, then you keep trying to solve for the wrong problems by either trying to please the other person or tolerate the other person or avoid the other person or numb yourself or keep blaming them. These are the solutions that you believe that will be the solutions, but you know that it's not a solution, because the fundamental part of how you cannot leave that relationship will trap you in your mindset, right? Even though physically no one can force you to stay married to someone who you don't want to. That would be illegal. But if you are mentally, though, trapping yourself in that relationship, then obviously you can't do any of the things that you would have otherwise. And that's why bringing that choice to your mindset is the crucial part of fixing any relationship problems with difficult people. And I know it's very challenging to do that. But if we're not able to do this way, if we're not able to bring choice to the matter, if we're not able to not make this personal every time, especially at workplace, right? And if we're not able to have that hard conversation, then we will not be able to build healthy work relationships. And most importantly, we will not be able to take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally well, because we are all the time triggered and activated and trying to respond from that place. And that place will never get us solutions that would be long-term sustainable, healthy. So that's why I would like for you to do an experiment with yourself and in your own situation, if you are in this situation, and think of it as if you treated your employer, your boss, difficult boss, as your main client. Or even you can experiment with, what if this is my best client, meaning that they pay well, they pay on time, they are, I don't know, for 1 year, they guarantee my salary, whatever it is, right? You can think of whatever the way you want to think of. And if you are treating your main or best client in the way that you're treating currently, how would that client relationship go? Versus when you say, okay, I have decided and chosen to be here, and that client also decided and chosen to be here. So we are two mature adults who are willing and wanting to solve this. And if you say that they're not willing, then again, you will trap yourself into how you are the victim and you can't do anything, da 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 da. But if we assume that, what if they are able and wanting to solve this as much as we do? And therefore, they're also wanting this not to be about the personal battles and fights, but rather the outcome. Then how might I approach to have that hard conversation? How might I approach to have that hard conversation where I'm feeling safe about myself, about who I am and how great of a professional I am? And I want to believe they are the same, or even if they are not, I want to at least do my best to have that conversation and see how that goes. And if that's not solved, then I need to make other decisions as to what to do next, instead of just trapping myself the whole time. Okay, so in the business, if we see that the relationship is not going well and we have tried our best in so many different ways, but I think the best, like the main part in the business or companies assume that you are the type of professional who can deal with difficult people and get them still to the great results. This is the assumption that businesses will have about you if you're working for them. And then you start also thinking about, okay, what kind of person I can be, what kind of emotional and mental maturity I need to have, and what kind of safety I need to have about myself to be able to solve any problems that my clients are having, whether they're difficult or not. And the other analogy that I love using in my own mental mindset when I'm working with my clients, as well as when I'm coaching clients, is I always think of great lawyers, excuse me, who are solving one of the most difficult problems for the client. And when they're solving these difficult problems for the client, they may have a lot of their own judgments, probably. They may also have judgments about what they should and shouldn't do, but they also know that according to the law, these are the things that we can do. These are the things that have proven to be working. These are the case laws, or whichever the way that they will do, right? And here are the ways that we need to partner together to get your interest and the outcome that you are wanting. And whether you are the difficult client or not, I know that I can get you to that outcome. Now, the personality wise, whether I like you or not, that's not the main thing. The main thing is how can we get you to that outcome through this process? And I am the type of person who will get you to that, right? This is how lawyers and attorneys are probably thinking when they're approaching and solving things with their clients. And I have found that to be so useful for my own practice. And I feel when I see certain professionals who have such great maturity and a level of emotional intelligence to not make things about personal attacks and to not make things about I'm trapped and you are trapped and poor us and we just have to work together and how do we tolerate each other and all of this. Not make this any of this about that, but rather here are the outcomes that we're wanting. Here are the process that we will be following. And if there is a hard conversation is needed, let's have it. But we know that we can get to that thing and let's make that happen, right? And when I see that type of professionals, I'm in awe as to how much I can aspire to. And you could also think of all of those professionals that you admire and say, okay, what are the things that they're doing amazing that you could also try for yourself? And here are the three things that I have talked about that have helped me immensely to have the best relationship with my clients and to always know that they're here by choice, I'm here by choice. And even if I was in the humanitarian sector, this is how I would treat everyone. In my past experience, this is how I treated everyone. That's why I felt such a freedom inside to know that in case I am not able to make the impact, if I'm not able to make the relationships work, I can always leave. And in fact, I did. But that was for another reason, right? Do you see what I'm saying? I really want you to start looking at your current relationships and start, especially with difficult bosses or whoever you find difficult, try this way of solving things and see for yourself how the outcome will be. And if you'd like to work on this individually, come coach with me in my Transitioning Humanitarians community, where I'm doing individual coaching and group one. And I'm about to start in 3 minutes. Yay. Okay, my dears. Have a beautiful week. And of course, tell me all the questions you have, message me, and I will be happy to answer them.